Hi everyone, thanks again for joining us today with our chapter book story time. We're going to continue reading The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. This is the Great Illustrated Classics version, and we are on chapter 3 today. So I'm Miss Erin, and we're here at the Caribou Public Library in Caribou, Maine. Chapter 3 is called Kidnapped. Oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? Here it says, hard, strong little hands grabbing him. Oh no. Mowgli wasn't asleep very long when he felt hard, strong little hands grabbing his arms and legs. Then a swash of branches hit his face as he was lifted high into a tree. The next moment, he was staring at Baloo and Bagheera far below him. Baloo was waking the jungle with his deep cries, and Bagheera was bounding up the tree trunk with every white panther tooth bared. But the branches broke under his weight, and he slid down with his claws full of bark. Bagheera and Baloo have noticed us, howled the Banderlog triumphantly. Now all the jungle people would admire us for our skill and cunning. And they began their flight from tree to tree, some 50 to 100 feet above the ground. Two of the strongest monkeys were clutching Mowgli under his arms as they swung him through the treetops. The whole tribe followed behind their prisoner, whooping and yelling as they went. Can you imagine the monkeys and what they sounded like? Even though it was a little frightening to see the earth so far below him, Mowgli was delighted with the wild ride at first, but soon the fear of being dropped replaced his delight, and then his fear turned to anger. Oof. This is them swooping from tree to tree. I must think of a way to let Baloo and Bagheera know where I am, he told himself. They can't travel as fast on the ground as these Banderlog can through the trees. With no help possible from below, Mowgli looked up to the sky where he spotted Chill the kite. The big hawk was flying over the jungle, searching for some dead beast to eat. When Chill saw the monkeys carrying something, he dropped closer to see if it could be a meal for him. He whistled in surprise when he saw Mowgli being dragged up to a treetop. Mowgli remembered his language lessons from Baloo, and now he gave the kite call, which said, "We are jungle brothers, you and I need your help. Mark my trail and take news of it to Baloo of the Seoni pack and Bagheera of the Council Rock." "What is your name, brother?" asked the Chill. "Mowgli the Frog, mark my trail!" And Mowgli shrieked those last words as he was being swung through the air. Chill nodded and flew upwards, all the while watching with his telescope eyes to see where Mowgli was being taken. "They won't go far," chuckled the hawk. "They never finish what they start anyway. But this time they're asking for big trouble by angering Baloo and Bagheera." Oh no, here's the hawk as he dropped in closer to see. The monkeys have captured Mowgli. Meanwhile, the big bear and the sleek panther were trying to follow the Banderlog, but there was no way that their running could keep up with the speedy monkeys as they flew through the trees. "Chasing them is useless," panted Bagheera finally. "If we follow too closely, they may drop him. We must make a plan." "They may have dropped him already. You can't trust those monkey people, and it's all my fault for not warning Mowgli," cried Baloo, clasping his paws over his ears and rolling back and forth, moaning. Bagheera lost his patience. "Enough howling," he cried. "I have faith in the man-cub. He is wise and has learned much from both of us. Then, too, he has those eyes that stare and frighten the jungle people. Perhaps he'll frighten the Banderlog, even though they don't fear any of us." "That's it!" cried Baloo, jumping up. "Fool that I am! There is one whom the Banderlog fear. It's Kaa, the rock python. That snake can climb as well as they can, and he can even steal their young ones at night. Yes, we must get help from Kaa." "But why should he help us? He's not one of our tribe." "Kaa is very old and very cunning and always very hungry. We can offer to hunt many goats for him in return for his help." So Baloo and Bagheera set off to find Kaa, the rock python. Look what they found. They found Kaa stretched out on a rock ledge in the afternoon sun. He had been away from the other jungle people for the last 10 days while he was changing his skin. Now he was admiring his beautiful new coat by darting his head along the ground and twisting his 30-foot-long body into fantastic knots and curves. Baloo pointed to Kaa's tongue as it darted over his lips and explained to Bagheera, "He hasn't eaten in many days, so be careful." "Oh, is his bite poisonous?" asked Bagheera. "No, Kaa's strength lies in his hug. Once his huge coils are wrapped around somebody, they are done for." Then Baloo called out, "Good hunting, Kaa!" "Ah, Baloo! Good hunting, Bagheera! What brings you both here? Is there any game nearby to hunt? I need food badly. The last time I went out to hunt in the trees, the branches were too weak to hold my weight. When I almost slipped off, the Banderlog all around me began laughing and calling me the most evil names." "I know what you mean," purred Bagheera sweetly. "Why, I even heard them say you were an old toothless, footless earthworm who was afraid to face anything larger than a baby goat. I thought that was terrible." The muscles of the old python's throat began to ripple and bulge. That was evidence that Kaa was growing angrier by the minute. Here they are talking to him. You think they're going to convince him to help them? "To answer your question, Kaa, we are here following the Banderlog," explained Baloo. "I've never known you jungle people to be interested in the monkeys," said Kaa. "We are now," explained Bagheera, "but only because they've stolen our man cub." "I heard that a man cub lived with a wolf pack. Is he the one?" "Yes, and he's the wisest and boldest of all man cubs," said Baloo. "He's my pupil, and besides, both Bagheera and I love him." "Our man cub is a prisoner of the Banderlog," explained Bagheera. "We need your help in rescuing him, because you're the only one in all the jungle that these monkeys fear." "And they have good reason to fear me," said Kaa. "Those foolish, vain Banderlog. But a man thing in their hands can be in great danger. They can carry a nut or a stick with them for hours, then tire of it and throw it down or break it to pieces. They would do the same to the man thing." "That's what we fear," says Baloo. "Where did they take him?" asked Kaa. "Only the jungle knows," replied Baloo with a shrug. "We think they headed west toward the sunset. We hoped you might know, O wise Kaa." "Aye, how?" hissed Kaa. "I catch monkeys when they come near, but I don't hunt them." Just then a voice screeched above their heads. "Up, up, look up, O Baloo, of the Seeni wolf pack." Baloo looked up as Chill the kite swept down through the trees. "What is it, my hawk brother?" called the bear. "Mowgli sent me to tell you the Banderlog have taken him to the coal lairs, the monkey city. I've delayed my bedtime to search for you, so good hunting now, my friends." "We thank you, Chill," said Bagheera. "I'll remember you on my next hunt. The head of my first kill will be saved for you, good kite." "Thank you, Bagheera. The boy knew the master word to call to me, and I was glad to be of help. It's the law of the jungle." Here's the hawk talking to these three. Kaa and Bagheera and Baloo. As Chill flew off, Baloo chuckled. My little Mowgli remembered the master word for the birds, even as he was being dragged through the trees. How proud I am of him. You did a fine job teaching him, praised Bagheera, but now we must hurry to the cold lairs and rescue our little man cub. All the jungle people knew what the cold lairs was. An old deserted city once occupied by man hundreds of years earlier. It was now a lost and buried jungle city. Very few jungle people ever went there because it wasn't their habit to live in places where man once lived. Only the monkey people lived there now, and only when they felt like it, for they had no permanent home. Baloo looked worried as he explained to Bagheera, Getting to the coal lairs will take more than half the night, even running at full speed. I don't move very quickly, but you know I'll go as fast as I can." "We can't take the chance of delaying another minute, good Baloo," said Bagheera. "I know you're just as anxious to get to Mowgli as I am, but Kaa and I can travel more quickly than you. So we'll go ahead. Just follow us as best you can." Bagheera sprang away, with the huge python at his heels. Kaa was still enraged over the nasty names the monkey people had called him. That, in addition to his hunger, drove him to keep up with the speedy Black Panther. Behind them lumbered the brown bear, running as he never had in his life, for never before was a life Baloo loved in such danger. There they are. So Kaa and Bagheera are running or slithering super fast, and the lumbering bear is coming behind. And that is the end of chapter 3. So we will continue on next time. We'll see you then. Bye for now.